We are live on the side of my house today. It is Tuesday afternoon. I moved some tomatoes over here. It's quite dry. I watered them yesterday, but when it's 90 plus degrees like it is today, it dries up pretty quickly. So we see the soil is quite dry, and I gotta water these pretty soon once the sun goes down or it cools off a little bit. But here we are. Welcome to the backyard. We're gonna take a little walk. From here on out, it's essentially gonna be tomato watch. And zucchini, and I don't know about cucumbers, but from here on forward, that's really the only thing we're looking for with so many things kind of having done their bit with the green beans and the sugar snap peas. So with that, let's look at the tomatoes. All right, so our first look at the garden for this week, this Tuesday, not looking as lush as it has before, but we see these ginormous tomato trees taking over the 4x4 box. So main things to just take a look at. We see the little cherry tomatoes continuing to grow. This plant, they have little clusters. I keep picking off their kind of some dried up dead leaf clusters that I pick off of this plant. Otherwise, we have an issue with the early girl tomatoes, which I've been trying to figure out. Tried to pull them off here. We see these black spots. So I've been reading up on it. It's some sort of bacteria. They say that it doesn't impact the plant, that you can still eat it, but you would just cut off those blemishes. But the other markers are that the leaves, let's see if we can get a good look here, are speckled as well, yellow and kind of a black or brown spot with a yellow halo, all indicative that not doing too well. So I'm debating just pulling that plant out to avoid it contaminating the others. For how much I love tomatoes, I don't want one plant to ruin the other few, so it's good in a way that we have the plants on the other side of the house away from this. The other thing I read about these blemished tomatoes is that it's not necessarily the soil that can be part of it, where there's not enough calcium in the soil, but more so the plant was kind of diseased from the start. So with that big gust of wind, hopefully everyone can still hear. The other cool thing to keep an eye on are the tomatillos. So as I've said in the previous weeks, kind of cool to watch as these grow. It reminds me of little paper lanterns. So the husk comes after the flower, and then the tomatillo will grow somewhere in there. Otherwise, the zucchini blossoms are still blossoms. I haven't spotted any zucchini starting to grow off of those. The string beans are a couple left. I've been picking them off. Leanne and I had them for the first time the other night. Sauteed them up in some bacon fat. They were quite tasty. The kale, continue to kind of pick off some leaves here and there. Let's see if we can take a look at the pepper for you. Let's poke around in here. All right, so we have our little jalapeno. There's another one growing on this plant as well. So we have two, which will not make a lot of salsa. Maybe this is essentially a one serving of salsa garden. And then the poblano, that's getting pretty good size. It's about the normal size of what I've seen in the stores. And then the green bell pepper still hasn't taken off despite kind of fertilizing. We see, get down all up in it. Let's see if you can see it there. The green pepper is pretty big for how small the plant is. But otherwise, lettuce is continuing to grow. Harvest that off. Not too much else. The beets are buried down in there. I'll probably harvest them this week and see how we've done. And there are just a few other updates. The herbs, you have to keep watering. Looking pretty dry. The basil is so sad in its dryness. In this pot, I had planted 3 herbs, but cilantro is the first to pop up. So that's kind of this one. It looks similar to parsley, but it's cilantro. And then this should be oregano. And then I thought I put basil in there from seed, but yet to take off. And then this pot is where I grabbed some tomatoes that started from seed and so I removed them from this pot and planted them alongside the house. And one final update, we'll walk to the back of the yard, see if my Wi-Fi goes this far, take a look at our control plants of the tomatillos and the rose bushes. Rose bush is not doing that well, so if ever you thought I had a green thumb, this will dispel that theory. All right, so here are the tomatillos in the back of the yard. Growing. Well, I think we got maybe 4 or 5 husks on each of the 2 plants. So that'll help. That'll be good. Better than kind of killing the plants and just taking my allotment from the ones in the garden box. This rose bush is the one that has produced roses earlier this year. This was with the house when I moved. And then the other 2, as we walk back, those are new. I got to do some yard maintenance. It's been so hot. I haven't been feeling it to come out and mow the lawn and trim up some of these weeds. But we see this rose bush is pretty stagnant. I've been watering it not as often as I should. So that's pretty much on me. And then the same deal on this one. A little more shade back here. And a lot of weeds, as you see, surrounding the rose bush and some shriveled up brown bits. And then the scrap heap, this brown mess with eggshells in it. That's my makeshift compost heap. I have to stir that around to get the kind of denser, wet part back to the top so it can dry out and somehow become compost through science. That's pretty much it. This is the other garden area, landscape. I keep mowing down the rhubarb and it keeps growing back. That's pretty much it for the garden. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Stay cool, stay out of the heat, drink your water. Words to live by. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching, for those that joined, whether for the live version or the streaming one. Check out thebachelorbasics.com as always, and see you next week. Take care, everybody.